Hello, everybody. So let's come back to the other part. Let's let's center a little bit ourselves. I know this is one of those discussions that can take forever, you know. And so we will try to do as much as possible. Okay. So as you notice, different tables have different aspects of these four verbs. Okay, so around um, 5 table will have something about welcoming, 5 will have something about protecting, promoting, and integrating. So we want to give a little space, a little bit, to see not only how you may have responded to some of those questions who were in the table, but also if that there was something that came out, innovative or new, or experiences. So I think we don't have that much time, unfortunately, but it will be nice to hear some of that kind of feedback. So maybe for the first one, who is about, for the first group about welcoming. Maybe who were the groups who have the sheets about welcoming? Who are they? So maybe if any of you want to say something, we have one table here. Where else? Don't be afraid. Who have welcoming? Like, oh my goodness. I say, so Paula, do you want to go maybe to this table here and see there was something in particular who came during this question about welcoming? Here. Who want to say something?
Yeah, we can. Um, we really liked from this morning's discussion. Chelsea invited us to say, instead of saying, not use the term immigrants, they're immigrants, but they're persons who are immigrating. That was one thing that came up. And then a lot of our personal experiences here at the table um, saw the need for in part of that welcoming is to educate people, how, give them what they need so they understand, be it the society, the language, et cetera.
Mm-hmm. Any other
Thank
group?
you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any other group about welcoming? Even the difficulties can make come.
Okay, just
Go ahead. Maybe you can go and then we go down.
we talked about how important it is for people to have a real experience with people
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to get to know true situations that immigrants, people who are immigrants have, and what their situations really are, the challenges they face, and to make a personal connection. So, for example, have a meal with some people who are immigrants, or give them an experience. We have a couple of experiences that we shared at the table of exposing real life situations to people through Catholic Charities, and sharing those stories personally, and how moving that can be when you hear a person's story from them individually. And so making that personal connection is powerful in that second question we dealt with of how do you help encourage a more welcoming culture for persons who are immigrants.
Thank you.
Was there another one?
So I think we kind of said some of the same things. On the third one, about what are the concerns, if a friend of you told you she had concerns about her community that was changing because of immigration, how would you respond? And then we had a practical experience of real concerns, of someone who in his childhood, everyone was of the same ethnic group and they would clean the stoop every day. And then the new group from another community moved in as immigrants and they were upstairs and they would throw their garbage off the top. And so it disrupted the entire community because all of a sudden things were being done differently and not, so that caused conflict. So there are sometimes legitimate concerns. And then so we didn't get to the point where I think he was going to say you have to work on it together to find solutions, which I suppose happened, but it was in Brooklyn, so maybe not. But anyway, so just that there sometimes are legitimate concerns, and so those legitimate concerns, and sometimes there are concerns that aren't legitimate that come from political spheres and fearmongers, and so in any case, probably the best solution is to confront them somehow or trying to find a way to peacefully resolve them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Great.
Perfect. with the next group or with the, okay. So protecting. Protecting. Oh, well, yeah. So let's go protecting. Protecting. As you can see, we have a lot of material. So one of the things, in terms of protecting, so far, a lot of people think in terms of protecting in these kind of terms, helping the people, the families, including other things who are way more controversial for some people, like the New Sanctuary Movement or even the Dream Act. For us, what is interesting here is that independently of our position in terms of this kind of legislations or activities, they all call into attention different aspects. For example, the distinction between the federal government and the local government in terms of dealing with immigration, how the people deal with legislation in their own terms. And for example, with the Dreamers, it's an interesting question for us because the question that they bring is, what does it mean to be a citizen? What it means to be a member of society? It is something that is defined by a document, or is something that is defined by culture. So those are important questions for us to think about it beyond of our positions about these things, because they bring into understand how complex is also understanding what it means to be a member of society. But we wonder if you guys have any other, maybe the group in protection can tell us something that you guys find out.
Who had protection? Protecting.
Protecting. Let's see, let's go. They have a group here. Wait, right here.
Someone else
Paula.
had protecting. Come on.
Who else have a protecting? We have one there.
All right. So you
Okay.
have some. Can you share?
So who want to go? You guys take your initiative about protecting.
For protecting, something very simple. We answered, one of the answers was just to be aware, And it struck me, I've had experiences even in the grocery store as far as protecting. You can see as someone who is not from our country, new or confused. In some place as simple as the grocery store, in a huge hospital, just to be aware and step in. Just be able to have the courage to step in and see if you can help. That we talked earlier about, this, we can change the laws, we can do all these things, but in the present, in the now. Just to have the courage to step in. If you're not needed, that's okay, step back. But I've had situations where I've seen something play out, and I watch, and then I thought, no, I need to go and see if I can help, or if I might have a thought, to take them here or there. But I think that's what we can do in the now. Something very simple.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who else? John.
Well, we were talking about protecting too. We share experiences because about the migration and the experience to be that, but some of the aspects that we talk about was if you know the system already, why you don't provide that information to them? Because they are arriving and they don't know anything about the system. Where to go? Who to call? Where is a good place in which you can get support? Whatever is the need that you have, you can even if you don't speak Spanish or Portuguese or whatever, because a lot of people from Portugal, from Brazil are coming into the country too. A smile is a universal language.